a story of pain, hope, and destiny. In a small village deep in Africa, where the roads were covered with dust and the houses were made of mud, there lived a young boy named Jabari. Jabari was only 19 years old. He was tall, strong, and handsome, but life had never been kind to him. Every morning before the sun fully rose, Jabari would wake up, wear his old torn clothes, and step outside in worn sandals that were almost falling apart. While other young men laughed and chased easy pleasures, Jabari walked through life carrying pain that nobody could see. His father had died when he was still a child. Since then, it had been only him and his mother. Her name was Amina. Amina was a kind woman. She had tired eyes, weak hands, and a heart full of love. Even when there was little food in the house, she always made sure Jabari ate first. And every night, when the village became quiet, Jabari would sit beside his mother outside their small mud house. They would look at the stars in silence. Amina would smile and say, "My son, one day your story will change." Jabari always smiled back, but deep inside, he did not know how. Because every day felt like survival. Every morning, he carried heavy water containers through the busy market. Sweat rolled down his face. His hands became rough. His shoulders ached. And as he worked, some people laughed at him. Some mocked him. Some said, "Look at Jabari, the poor boy with big dreams." Others said, "People like him never become anything." Jabari heard every word, every laugh, every insult, and though it broke his heart, he stayed silent, because he had something bigger than pride. He had responsibility. He had his mother. Then one day, everything changed. When Jabari returned home after a long day of labor, he found his mother lying weakly on her bed. Her breathing was slow. Her body was weak. Jabari rushed to her side. He held her hand tightly. Tears filled his eyes. "Mother, please stay with me." Amina smiled softly. Even in pain, she smiled. "Jabari, never stop believing in yourself." That night, Jabari cried harder than he ever had before. He looked up at the dark sky and asked, "God, why is life so hard?" Days passed. Jabari tried everything. He sold goods. He carried loads. He worked for others. He started small business ideas. But every plan failed. Every effort collapsed. Every dream seemed to die before it could live. One evening, after another painful failure, Jabari sat alone under a giant tree outside the village. The sun was setting. Dust moved softly through the wind, and for the first time, Jabari almost gave up. He lowered his head. His eyes were full of pain. But then, he remembered his mother's voice. "Never stop believing in yourself." The next morning, Jabari stood up. Something inside him had changed. The pain was still there. The struggle was still real. But now, there was fire in his eyes. He walked through the village with a new determination. Not everyone noticed, but destiny did. That same day, while Jabari worked near a busy roadside market, an older man stopped and watched him. The man's name was Mr. Kamau. He was respected, successful, wise. He had built businesses across many cities, but what caught his attention was not Jabari's strength. It was his attitude. Even while sweating, even while suffering, Jabari never stopped working. Mr. Kamau walked closer. He looked into Jabari's eyes, and he saw hunger. Not hunger for food, hunger for purpose. "Young man," Mr. Kamau said, "what is your name?" "Jabari," he replied. Mr. Kamau smiled. "Come with me. I want to teach you something." From that day, Jabari's life began to change. Inside Mr. Kamau's office, Jabari learned things he had never known before. He learned business. He learned discipline. He learned leadership. He learned that success was not magic. It was built through patience. Every day, Jabari wrote notes. Every night, he studied under lantern light. While others slept, Jabari worked. While others partied, Jabari learned. Sometimes he was tired. Sometimes he wanted to quit. But he remembered where he came from. He remembered his mother. Months passed, then years, and slowly the village boy began to rise. His first business succeeded, then another, then another. Doors began to open. People who once laughed now watched in silence. Jabari built companies, created jobs, changed lives. The same boy who once walked barefoot through dust now stood inside beautiful offices overlooking the city. But success did not change his heart. It only revealed who he truly was. One day, Jabari returned to his old village. As his car arrived, people gathered. Children ran toward him. Villagers stared in disbelief. Some smiled, some cried, some could not believe what they were seeing. The poor boy had returned, but now he was a man of purpose. Jabari walked slowly through the same dusty roads, the same roads where people once mocked him. But he held no anger, only peace. Then he stood before the village and said, "I did not come back to show success. I came back to build hope." And he kept that promise. Jabari built schools. He built clean water systems. He created jobs for young people. He gave scholarships. He helped widows. He fed children. And slowly, the village began to transform. Years later, as the sun set over the land, Jabari stood on a hill overlooking everything. Children were playing. Families were smiling. Dreams were growing. And for the first time in his life, Jabari smiled with peace. He looked toward the sky and whispered, "Mother, we made it." And somewhere beyond the clouds, it felt like Amina was smiling too, because the poor boy who once had nothing had become the light for many, and his story would never be forgotten. Like and subscribe to Storycraft TV for more inspiring stories.